Hey there, it's Andy with Reverb. You know we're always looking at the latest and greatest effects pedals, but a lot of the times some of these excellent designs go unnoticed, get discontinued way too soon, or just fly under the radar. So join me as we go over 5 of my favorite underrated pedals. First up is the DE7 Delay Echo from Ibanez. Released in the early 2000s, the Tone Lock series was a futuristic line that offered locking knobs with a spring-loaded action to keep those settings secure during transport or on the stage. The great thing about the Delay Echo is that it gives you a wide range of delay times and 2 different delay voicings. The Tone Lock series was pretty short-lived, but there are some other great offerings in this line, and if you haven't checked them out on Reverb before, you'll find yourself a great deal for sure. Let me start by showing you the difference between the delay and echo modes. Even though they're both digital, they are voiced completely different. The next pedal goes way back with me, and that's the Barber Electronics Tone Press. This was one of the first boutique compressors that I demoed way back in 2007 and 8. It has parallel compression, which means it gives you the compressed signal, but also allows you to blend in the dry signal in parallel, meaning it's not affecting the attack, signal, or threshold of the compression. In general, I think Barber Electronics is a really underrated brand. If you haven't checked them out here on Reverb, there's some really great deals, and these are handmade boutique effects. Let's start with the blend all the way up, so that dry signal's out of the mix entirely. Then I'll back things off so you can see the beauty of parallel compression. Next up is the Danelectro Cool Cat Fuzz version 1, or CF1. This one's rumored to be very close to the Frantone Peach Fuzz, which is a huge fuzz distortion with a tight bottom end and plenty of gain. This one's from 2008, and despite its funky enclosure, is actually metal. You could see at that time the true bypass craze was in full effect, but for a fuzz it's a really nice feature, and the battery hatch on the bottom of the pedal isn't bad either. Let's start with the fuzz around halfway, which is a really creamy fuzz sound that is very tight and compressed. Notice how the whole tone just opens up, you get a lot more bloom when you crank up that fuzz control. And one of the things I love about this high gain fuzz is that you could turn the tone control past noon and all that low end is still retained. Really helps with the drop tuned guitar. My next choice for underrated pedals is one that shouldn't come as a surprise, and that's the FX65 DoD Stereo Chorus. The reason I like this one so much is because it's analog, but also it has that delay time control. And if you know anything about modulation effects or even just the basics of flanging and chorus, you'll notice that there's a lot of similarities, and a lot of it is just the delay time range. And don't forget to check out DoD's other analog offerings from this time period, like the stereo bass chorus and the super stereo chorus, which actually gives you a dry blend or level, which is very helpful with other instruments. And here's probably why I like the FX65 so much. If you put a distortion in front of it and you use that second output on the chorus, you start to hear some pseudo through zero flange effects. And to really embellish that, I've had this one modded to go even slower, so you start to hear that phase cancellation and it's just drawn out even longer. And last but certainly not least is the Boss PN2 Tremolo Pan Pedal. And if you know anything about Boss effects, you're probably not thinking this is a very underrated effect. But considering it was only produced for about 10 months and that supply was stretched out nearly 5 years, says that it was a pretty underappreciated pedal at the time. The Tremolo Pan is a true stereo effect, giving you stereo ins and outs so you could integrate it into your stereo rig whether you play guitars or keys. The beautiful thing with this pedal is when you plug in 2 amplifiers and you listen to the tremolo effect pan between them. And one feature I really like about the PN2 besides the panning effect is that the LED flashes in time with the speed you've set, whether the pedal is on or not. Well, there's my top 5 list of underrated pedals that you could find right here on Reverb. Be sure to leave some comments below on your favorite underrated pedals, and I'll see you next time.